Hello, everyone. Welcome to Galactic Rush, where we have all kinds of shows, where we love talking about movies, shows, cartoons, and the video games based on them. Today, we have the first episode of a new series called Movie Mutrals, where me, Homecoming, and my friend here, Minetta.
Hello.
Minetta loves movies, and I need to see more of them, so this show is to get us to talk about movies. And as long as you don't bring up the phrase Christopher Nolan, the world is at peace.
Alright.
But yeah, me and Minetta love discussing movies. So Minetta, what movie are we discussing for our inaugural episode? Because you picked this movie.
Well, this movie is very dear to my heart because much like Christopher Nolan movies, it's just amazing. But no, this movie is this is the epitome of delicious garbage, quote unquote. It is Street Fighter the movie, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia. And
That's
it
right.
It is. Oh god, this movie's not good, but I love it.
This is one of the perfect examples of so bad it's good, because me and Minetta have sat through movies, like when we recently sat through Triple Threat, that just sucked the life out of us.
I hate that movie is bad, but we're not here to talk about Triple Threat.
At least not today. We might someday.
Maybe.
We might need to talk about how they were indeed.
I had to watch
Triple
The
Threat.
Raid to cleanse that palette of bad action movies with a good action movie.
But yes, we are talking about Street Fighter, one of the original video. This is a very special video game based movie because this is from an era where people made media based off of video games, and they kind of just added or changed what they want to. Like video game lore, it's not like how in the recent Mario movie, how everything was in place, how they explained power-ups, how the music was there, and it was like you could believe that that was a Mario game movie. No, this was back in the day where like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show was playing Michael Jackson music, and King Koopa was kidnapping Milli Vanilli and going.
It's a very interesting era because this was like before video games really had I would say had a place in pop culture. It like Street Fighter was a known name. You go into an arcade, you see Street Fighter 2 cabinet, and then oh yeah, I've heard of Street Fighter. I'll go see the movie. It's about dudes fighting. I'm sure this movie will be good. And like the writers, they probably didn't. That was probably how they thought of it. It's like, yeah, let's just do a thing about people fighting and loosely base it off of this game with characters that people recognize.
Yes, it's like, let's capitalize. If you want a authentic Street Fighter movie, which Minetta and I will definitely talk about in the future, watch Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, because
That movie's very good.
That movie's peak. You actually showed that to me earlier this year. I'd never seen it, and I was like,
That was the first time I had seen it.
it was like, oh my gosh, like this movie is like. I mean, yes, there's no lore in the Street Fighter 2 animated movie, but it gives you what you want, which is just fighting. Lots of one-on-one fighting. You get Ryu kicking Bryan Cranston in the face.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Bryan Cranston plays Fei Long in that, which is weird.
There is no Fei Long in this movie, though, so our cast that we have Ryu and Ken, are everyone's favorite lovable conmen street rats. No up. They're pesky kids, but they got hearts of gold. Sorry, this movie is off the rails.
Ryu and Ken, they don't do much in this movie. Because, for all intents and purposes, Guile is the main character, and Guile's that can make sense. Guile being the main character in a Street Fighter thing, yeah, that can work. But it's just weird how Ryu and Ken are there, but just along for the ride for most of it.
Yeah, they start off as these like underground fighting. So we're gonna go through all the characters because there are some very interesting changes. But yes, Guile is the main character on all. I feel like that was retroactive because in the movie you follow Ryu and Ken for like I want to say 50% of the scenes. Like I want to say they're on screen more than Guile is.
I don't know, because I mean, like Guile is played by Van Damme, so like he's gonna have the most going on, I imagine. Like
He has the most plot important stuff, which the plot is very simple. Bison has a bunch of hostages. He's built a small country, and he has an army, and he wants $1 billion.
Bison dollars.
Yeah, he wants
to create his own currency, which is very easy to do. Don't worry about it.
Yes, he wants bison dollars, and he's kidnapped who was presumed dead, Guile's mentor and best friend Charlie.
Yeah, he kidnapped Charlie. What is it? What was his? Oh God, what was his name? It was like Carlos Charlie Blanca.
Yes.
And they fused Jimmy and Charlie for some reason.
Yep, they fused Charlie into Blanca. Dhalsim is a scientist now.
And then Dhalsim is a scientist, and then later on he just gets his Street Fighter 2 design, and it's like, what happened?
He gets his design because he has hair and everything. Like it gets like blown off. Like
I don't remember that. I just remember like just seeing him with the child skulls at some point. It's like, oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, because he had like a collar around his neck and like bracelets like that were supposed to like, oh, you're a prisoner. You gotta work for us. So then there's an explosion. It like blows his shirt off. It blows his hair off, and it makes him bald. And that's how we get Dhalsim to be Dhalsim.
It's so weird.
Balrog and
Balrog
DJ.
and E Honda.
Well,
Oh, you're gonna go there first. Okay, go ahead.
yes, Balrog and DJ are swapped. So Balrog is a mild-mannered cameraman.
It's so stupid.
In
One of the four kings is a cameraman in this movie. It's so stupid.
Chun-Li is a news anchor with her assistant, E Honda.
Who's like, is he like he's like a Hawaiian guy in this, isn't he?
Yeah, he's half Hawaiian, half Japanese.
Oh, okay. Well, still, it's kind of weird.
It's something else. And then, yeah, so the four kings are, we have Vega still, who goes through most of this movie not wearing his mask.
I mean, that's fine, because Vega takes his mask off every now and then. But honestly, like, of all the designs in the movie, Vega was spot on, I felt.
Vega was spot on. The actor, so we have Bison, his four kings are Zangief, Vega, DJ, and Sagat. So
DJ and Sagat were also pretty solid.
yeah.
Or not DJ, Zangief and Sagat, rather.
Zangief, the actor who played Zangief is having the time of his life in this movie.
He was the funniest character in the movie, for sure.
Yeah,
You guys
like
are getting
this,
paid?
you guys. My favorite is still the bit where Chun-Li straps a bunch of bombs to a car and
Oh yeah.
Bison's weapons, and it's on the TV, and Zangief is like, change the channel.
That's so like, that's such a clever joke to convey stupidity. I love that.
So,
Because it's like, yeah, this is happening on the TV and in real life. If we change the channel, therefore it'll stop. Yeah, no, that's funny.
exactly, that's good logic. So basically, for those who are wondering, what's the deep plot of this movie? Are we gonna go through? No. We are here to mostly discuss film, and the plot can be boiled down to Bison is bad, Van Damme wants to. Well, first of all,
He wants to go upriver and
Yes.
going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna fit it.
But not before being met with an option. We can go home. We can all go home.
Now, who wants to go home? Who wants to go with me?
Yes, because we needed another antagonist. We needed the bureaucrats. My favorite Street Fighter characters, the bureaucrats who are
The
like
United
"Oh,
States
no,
government.
yeah, we're just gonna pay Bison off, and he's gonna release the hostages. Because we needed one more obstacle.
It wasn't even an obstacle. It's like they came in. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna pay him off for his crimes. Doesn't matter. And then Guile just goes, nah. And then they go through with the plan anyway.
Yeah, they go through with the plan. Oh, also, Cammy and T-Hawk are in this movie, but barely. Barely.
Unfortunate, because Cammy, like, the actress who played Cammy was having fun. I felt, yeah.
She never got to,
Isn't
like...
she an Australian pop star?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Okay, that's weird. Weird
So-
casting choice, but all right.
Well, for me, I think the funniest thing is that this movie spends so much time on Ryu and Ken, and as you said earlier, they do nothing. They bumble around, and then Guile finds them, and Guile's like, whatever Bison's paying you, I'll pay double. You're now sleeper agents. But even though they're sleeper agents, they feel bad for going along with Bison. Like, they have this little, like, aw scene where Chun-Li's getting taken away, and they're like, is this what being a good guy feels like? I don't feel so. It's like, what? What?
It's so weird.
They
And
are
like,
too
because...
bad. Yeah.
God, sorry.
No, you first.
But it's weird, because, like, yeah, their position is the main character, but when I think about this movie, I think about Guile fighting Bison, I think about Bison it only being Tuesday, and then I think about Chun-Li, Balrog, and E Honda's cameraman adventures.
Yeah, Chun-Li doesn't get to fight a lot in this movie. She's like an espionage, like, spy. It's really... And then you get this scene where E Honda, after Chun-Li, Balrog, and E Honda are captured, where he's getting, like, whipped, and he's just, like, standing there.
He's vibing.
He's just vibing. And that's the first time where he brings up the way of the sumo, and then I love how he's fighting and his Hawaiian shirt gets ripped, and that's how it makes the E Honda, like, outfit.
Yeah.
Also, he
Yeah,
fights
that's,
things...
I also like that scene. It's a weird scene, but I think it's like it's a weirdly decent character moment.
Yeah,
But,
well, I like
yeah.
that he fights Zangief and then he just stops because they're running out of movie time. He's just like... he's just like... it's just like, okay, that was fun.
We don't have enough budget for an SPD.
We don't have enough budget for Zangief to grab him, spin him around, and slam him, and potentially break his neck into the dirt.
How many? Okay, speaking of SPDs and Street Fighter moves, how many like moves actually happened in this movie? Because like Guile does a flash kick. That's he does that against Bison.
Bison does a ton of his moves because Bison definitely does a Psycho Crusher.
Yes, he gets the Psycho Power. He does that, but like, do Ryu and Ken ever throw a fireball?
No, but I think we do get the uppercut.
Okay, all right. Yeah, wake up DP. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel like they focus more on Kosh because even though this is called Street Fighter, most of the combat in this movie revolves using guns.
That's true. There's a lot of gun stuff going on.
this movie, like, how do I even? It's like what you said earlier. This is one of those so bad it's good. Like, yes, it's bad. It's cheesy, but you laugh with it. It's
I
It's
I feel
in
like you gotta like go in knowing this is a bad movie, and you know like the primary objective, have fun, just like laugh with it, and then you have a good time, because like you compare this to the other fighting game movies out there, and I know a lot of people like Mortal Kombat, like it's actually a good movie, the old one, not the new one.
Yeah.
I don't share that sentiment as much. Like it's fine, but I have more fun with this movie just because it's so stupid.
I agree, and I think that's also like we can. This is still like within the realm of the topic, but like even as games, I've always preferred Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat.
Oh, totally.
Like Street Fighter has always it like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken are all like different flavors of soda. So like if someone says their favorite, it's just like picking their favorite flavor of soda. I'd say that Street Fighter is the Coca-Cola of fighting games because it's a safe bet. You get it. Sometimes they make like a cherry flavor and you enjoy it, but like Street Fighter to me is expected to be goofy and cartoony because even the games has like, for example, I forgot what game it was, but the one where the ending where Ken Sun just punches him in the nuts.
I think that was that 5? I don't remember.
Yeah. I thought I know it was a sprite work one. I thought it was like 3.
Okay.
All I know is
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not privy to all the arcade endings of Street Fighter. I just like to play the games.
I'm not privy either. The only one I'm very yeah, because it's funny because like you at the time of this like recording, you're like still very deep into Street Fighter 6.
Oh, it's my
Like,
game of the year. Like
You haven't even beaten the story mode yet.
I here let me look at my Steam library right now and see how many hours I have on Street Fighter 6. I think I have like almost 100.
I love how World Tour, you like hung out with Luke, you hung out in the city for a couple hours, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go learn Cammy. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, I have 87 hours in Street Fighter 6 on Steam, and I am like maybe 2 hours into the story mode because playing the versus part of that game and the multiplayer is just it's crack. I love it.
I agree. I think the multiplayer is what made. I think the story, they put an arcade mode in there for purists, which I went through very easily. Like I did Lily's arcade mode, but like even me for the World Tour mode, the World Tour mode is nice, but it feels very drawn out. Like
It's
you walk around and fight, and that's it. It's no different. It's
the
a
groundwork.
arcade mode.
The groundwork is there for a really good like single player mode because personally I think I've echoed this for a long time. I'm so sick of the fighting game single player mode that's just Mortal Kombat story mode because Tekken's done it, Street Fighter's done it to an extent, Guilty Gear's done it, and they're all terrible. So this being different, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's a step up. I feel like they need to like maybe add like a 3D beat 'em up mechanic where it's not always just fights, like where you can settle stuff in the overworld for the next one.
I think like the RPG mechanics of like, you know, build up your own character, create your own fighter. That's always cool, and the fact that you can fight with other avatars is awesome. I think they did the most potential they could with that existing system, just outside of the single player mode.
Agreed. Yeah, Street Fighter, also aesthetically, Street Fighter 6 is the most third strike Capcom has been in a while with the urban aesthetic, the graffiti,
the music especially.
The music, which I appreciate. I love it from a presentation standpoint. I love playing it multiplayer. I am a basic Lily main.
Hey, no, if you wanted to be basic, you would have said Ken.
If I wanted to be basic, I might have said Manon, because it's all I run into online.
Manon's a grappler. Grapplers aren't basic. Okay, you know what? Okay, Manon as a grappler is not basic. Zangief is basic. But, yeah.
See, that's the thing. I run into Zangief, Manon, and Marissa. It's just like Street Fighter 6 is the grapple game. It's a grappler's paradise. And then there's it is grappler's paradise.
Now I'm thinking of Gangster's Paradise, but it's Grappler's Paradise.
Just seeing Zangief living most our lives, living in a grappler's paradise. Just in like slow motion, like spinning pen into the ground.
We went on a tangent though. We're not here to review Street Fighter 6 though. We're here to the movie though is
the movie's a movie already.
There's not much else to say really. Yeah, it sure is a movie.
We can all go home.
We can all go home.
Like that's one of the appeals of Street Fighter the movie is that, see, you guys say Street Fighter the movie because even though this is heavily lifted out of the success of Street Fighter 2, it's not Street Fighter 2 the movie, it's Street Fighter the movie.
Yeah. And then you got that's why the animated movie you have to refer to as Street Fighter 2 the animated movie.
Yeah, I've caused so much confusion. Oh, Street Fighter the movie. Oh, I love the scene where Chun-Li kicks Vega while injured. No, I'm talking about the one with... Okay, let's talk about Raw Julia as Bison.
Raw Julia as Bison is unbelievably good. I think that is the best casting, and like, it says a lot how to this day people still quote that famous scene of, for you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday.
I love
like,
the fact
people
that
still say that. Like the Evo,
yeah.
The song before Street Fighter 6 finals has that line in it, and it's like all these years later. It's amazing.
I love that his war table, like his boat missile command, is a fight stick.
Yeah, it's got the Street Fighter 2 like the Sambo buttons.
Game over.
He really does like evoke that same energy from Bison in the Street Fighter 2 or the Street Fighter cartoon, the Ruby Spears one. It's like you'd expect him to say like, yes, I killed your father. I killed mine too, and you don't hear me whining about it.
I could see Raw Julia doing the scene also with the yes.
This is delicious entertainment.
Just the camera pan on that. Just yeah. But Raw Julia is great. It's hard for us to talk about some of these characters because there are so many of them that like T-Hawk and Cammy get barely anything. DJ.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're barely in there. DJ has a fun moment where he just like, it's like, why do you do this if you know you're bad? It's like, because I'm getting paid.
You got paid?
Yeah, and then you got paid? What?
That means that Zangief was just doing this for the fun of it. He was like, yo, this sounds like a great way to spend a weekend. Just hang out with Bison. Maybe I get to fight a random guy. Well, just some bits of this movie haven't aged particularly well. Particularly the scene where Zangief and E Honda are wrestling each other and they play the Godzilla stock sound footage over it.
Okay, that's great though. That's hilarious because they're on like that model city. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, the fact that Bison has a model city and you're like, okay, this is gonna lead to nothing. And no, it's a build-up for a Godzilla reference.
To a Godzilla gag.
For a Godzilla gag of all things. Because why not? Oh wait, we forgot the most essential character.
Sawada.
Sawada. Yes.
I so want Sawada to show up in a game at some point. Street Fighter 6 Season 2. Sawada, let's go.
People still want Bison to just show up out of nowhere. I think Akuma is going to be the one who shows up out of nowhere.
Well, no, Akuma's already confirmed.
Oh, of course Akuma's confirmed. Yeah, there's no Akuma in this movie.
No, there was no Akuma in this movie, which is, I mean, like it would be too much to throw Akuma in there.
But then maybe Ryu and Ken would have purpose, because Akuma is as a character exists not to be like, oh, this deep character. No, Akuma exists just to fight Ryu.
Yeah, he's more of like, I don't want to say like an ideal, because he's not, but like he's just something for Ryu to overcome.
Yeah, he basically embodies like the unhealthy side of Ryu's ambition. Like when all you care about exactly when all you care about is being the strongest of the strong. Ryu and Ken get their outfits from Bison because all of Bison's soldiers wear Ryu and Ken's outfits.
They do, except they also don't. It's
yeah. They should have given Ken the blue gi, the player 2 blue gi. Like that. That would have been sick. The Chun-Li does not get her. Okay, so in terms of costume,
I like Chun-Li's outfit that she ends up with, the red outfit, because like that's always been an alt color for Chun-Li, and I think that looked good. It's not her iconic blue look, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah. So in terms of authenticity, Balrog never dons boxing gloves.
Except he has them in the game, the movie, the game.
Okay, Minetta, educate the audience about Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
It's shit. It is a Mortal Kombat like photo digitized sprite fighting game, and you can do a Shoryuken into a Tatsu, which is stupid.
It's okay
that game is terrible. I love it.
But General Sawada's in it.
Yes, General Sawada is in it. And T-Hawk, the actor who played T-Hawk, is not in that game, but T-Hawk's still in the game. He just dipped. It's like, yeah, I got paid. I'm out. Later.
But it's okay, because that game also has Zangief's stun animation, which, if the editor wants to put that in, it's special, all right. Street Fighter, the movie, the game. I want to play it someday, just to say that I did.
Yeah, it's one of those games that like you boot up, you play for maybe 10 minutes, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you never again.
So, Van Damme as Guile. Let's get to Van Damme as Guile. He's got
a weird casting choice.
It's weird, but he makes it work.
Somehow, yeah. It's not I could still somehow like he does this the Guile kind of like, but he's not because Guile I always picture as like a stoic soldier man. And so, in this Van Damme Guile is anything but stoic.
Oh, he makes sure to have one-liners ready. He makes sure to, have quips and no. This is a result of, even though this was made in the early to mid 90s, this is definitely a leftover from what at the time was what we expected from our action movie heroes. They always have the one line. Van Damme's one of them. Him, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, they always have these stupid lines that we still love. And that's why I love RoboCop, because RoboCop doesn't have any one-liners. That's what makes RoboCop stand out, and we will definitely talk about that on the show someday.
RoboCop has every line in RoboCop is great though. But we'll talk about RoboCop at another day.
You have a name, son? Murphy. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That's great.
RoboCop is. You know what? That's one of our calls to action at the end of this episode. Go watch RoboCop. Go if you have not.
Always go. I vividly remember, I think it was 2018, Devolver Digital said, before you watch our press conference, you need to watch RoboCop. And I was like, bet, I'll watch RoboCop. And that was like, oh, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life.
For me, my experience was that one of my best friends was going through like an action movie phase, and he showed me Escape from New York, Army of Darkness, so movies like that. And one night, he's like, "Dude, I'm in the mood. We need to watch RoboCop." And I was like, "I've never seen it," and I watched it, and I was like, "This is peak movie." Like, I was like, "This is one of the most violent." Action, like, if you want we will talk about it at some point, but moving back to Street Fighter, Van Damme, he does the job as Guile. Charlie as Blanca, there's a scene where that is not in character for Guile, where Guile almost euthanizes his best friend.
Yeah. That is weird. Everything they did with Blanca is just so weird. I don't like Blanca in this movie.
I don't either. Blanca's supposed to be an innocent boy who gets in a freak accident, who then becomes an upstanding businessman who just cares about his mom.
Not call Blanca upstanding based on what he does in Street Fighter 6.
Listen,
he's a con man in Street Fighter 6.
Hey, he won. He like went far in Evo, so Blanca's clearly doing something right. The way you can corner someone with Blanca and just roll into them, clearly Street Fighter 6 knew what it was doing. But yeah, Blanca, and that's one of the scenes I want to talk about. Blanca is like about to be euthanized. Like Guile has the gun on him, and Dawson's like, no, he has good in him and bad, so he's like the rest of us, but not. And it's like, what? Like, Blanca doesn't even have electric powers in this movie. He's just he's just green. He's just green with spiky hair. Like, him and Dulcim go to live in the woods at the end of the movie, and okay, that's how we'll wrap this up. So the movie ends with, there's fights. There's a fight between, after like 45 minutes, after bunches of gunfights, you get an honest to goodness fight between Guile and Bison, which is one of the best parts of this movie.
It actually is a good fight. That's a good part of that movie. He does the flash.
You get like 80 fights towards the end of the movie. Chun-Li doesn't get to be in one, but Amy and T-Hawk.
She gets a fight with Bison though.
Oh, she gets a small fight with Bison, but she gets a gunfight with T-Hawk. Zangief and E Honda wrestle for a little bit. Vega and Ryu and Ken fight. Well, no, because Ken, this is a different version of Ken. He's only in it for himself. So so Ryu and Ken want to have a redemption arc, even though they haven't done much of anything in this movie. And Ryu goes to fight the guy. Yeah, there was nothing to redeem because they were undercover.
It's not like one of those things where, oh man, we gotta turn good. It's like, wait, you were bad before?
Exactly. There's nothing to redeem, but Ken goes and Ken and Ryu split up for a split minute because it's like, oh no, I'm in it for us and we're not getting anything. Oh no, I gotta be in it for something more. And then Ken watches Ryu basically getting mollywopped by Vega, and then Ken shows up and they 2-on-1 Vega, and Vega's like, that's not fair, and they knock him out in like 2 seconds.
Yep.
Yes, but
it's because they gotta do the good thing, and which is like, I feel like Ken probably had the most disservice of the character, because like he doesn't do anything, and it's also very much not like Ken as a character.
Because if this is supposed to be Ken and Ryu who have known each other for years, Ken, that means he had his bratty rich boy phase already. And already did the training with him. Unless this is young Ken, but even then, if it's young Ken, these two are supposed to be off training with, I forgot who that guy's name was.
Goken.
Goken. And then Akuma kills him. Yeah. But
no, Akuma never actually killed Goken.
Oh, he never did? I thought he did.
No! Akuma has killed no people.
Akuma's just out there. Akuma's out
there. There was a time where he tried to kill Gen, and this is actually one of the coolest fucking things in Street Fighter. So, when Akuma goes to use the Raging Demon against Gen, what the Raging Demon does is it brings your soul down to hell, and it like wrestles your sins against you. But since Gen is at complete peace with himself, it does nothing. And then he's looking for a warrior's death, but because he's ready to die, Akuma doesn't want to fight him, so he just leaves. It's awesome. It is a very cool thing with Akuma.
What if they did that in the Street Fighter movie? What if they had a fight Bison, like they cut like 1 or 2 scenes. What if they fight Bison, and then they did the thing from Street Fighter 2, where if you get no deaths and you do a couple perfects, where Akuma just comes in and that is still one of the most iconic things Street Fighter's ever done. The fact that Akuma's first appearance in Street Fighter 2, I still love how the screen goes right, and then Akuma's standing there looking away from the camera, and Bison is just on the floor.
That would actually be kind of, well, you know what, that would be, if this movie was made now, it would be like a post-credit scene.
Post-credit scene of Akuma.
Yeah.
You know what, that's a good way to end this, because so the movie ends with all of them jumping in the air and you get the title.
And they do the iconic Street Fighter 2 pose.
Yeah. And
you got Zangief with the arms up.
do you think, with its resurgence in popularity, do you think that Hollywood would try to make another Street Fighter movie, or do you think they just do it like a show or something?
Well, there are, I mean, there's a few, they've tried a few times since. There was The Legend of Chun-Li, which is not good. But I could see there being another Street Fighter movie with how video game movies kind of have been going lately. Because we got Super Mario Brothers being the second most profitable video game movie. No, the second most profitable movie of this year. So yeah, I could see Hollywood being like, yeah, let's do some more video game movies.
Would you want it to be animated or live action if they made another Street Fighter movie?
Well, I would always probably prefer an animated Street Fighter movie, but I would always be down to watch a live action one, because I think Street Fighter is a series, especially now, that they could do either, really. So with how with how Street Fighter looks in with 6 especially, yeah, I think they could do live action.
That's fair. I think I would be okay with an animated movie. I think they should make a basic animated movie, and if they ever made a Street Fighter, another one, I think what would be really cool is if Bison wasn't the villain of the first movie, but rather was the teaser and credit villain. I think it'd be cool if they, kind of like how the spoiler alert, brand new Turtles franchise didn't start off with Shredder. I think more movies need to pace themselves a little bit. Obviously, something like Mario, you gotta use Bowser. Bowser is.
There's no one else. There's no one even close to Bowser in Mario.
Yeah, Sonic has to use Eggman because aside from that, you have Chaos and Gun and the Biohazard, but that's all you need to build up to that, and that's also one movie's worth of content. So
You got to build up to Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog. Like you just have to.
you have to build up to. Although they didn't do it the right way, they should have revealed Shadow standing on top of an Olive Garden and going, "I promise you, revenge."
And then he cocks the machine gun.
All hail Shadow! It's blasting. It's like, whoa!
But the thing with Bison though, I feel like Bison is Bison is like that with Bowser. There are more Street Fighter villains like Akuma and such and Gil, but like none of them. When it comes to the popularity of the Street Fighter villains, like Bison is far and away the most popular villain. So I think they would have to start with Bison. And plus, he's been the villain for most of the series. He's a villain in the Alpha series. He's a villain in 2, 4, and 5. So I think
I thought
there is
was the
Gil,
villain in 4.
or not Gil, Seth in 4, but like he's present in most of the series.
I think if I were to make a Street Fighter movie, I would make Sagat the antagonist of the first movie and Bison the antagonist of the second one.
Sagat, the antagonist, says like sort of like the way that going through the Alpha series.
Yes, like that'd
be cool.
I would also like use a whole movie. You know what? That's what I do. I'd start in the Alpha series. If I were to make Street Fighter movies, I would have at least one of them be in the Alpha series, and then the second movie is the World Tournament, and then the third movie is, I don't know, whatever, not Gil. We don't need a whole new generation of kids being like, oh, we're gonna go to the Street Fighter movie. We don't need a whole bunch of kids learning what Gil's resurrection is. That can stay. That can stay in
Those
the past.
kids are gonna learn today.
Kids are gonna learn today. They're gonna see a Street Fighter movie. They're gonna be like, oh, the Street Fighter collection. I hope it has decent bandwidth. Oh boy, I'm gonna play through arcade. Oh, why is that man in body paint? Oh sweet, I beat him. This is all. Oh,
no, you
never
didn't.
mind. I didn't. Why does he get 2 life bars and I get 1?
On Twitch recently, I went through Third Strike's arcade mode, and I never actually had done that before. God, the Gil is such nonsense.
Gil is nonsense. And then
you really gotta cheese Gil out, and it's kind of fun.
You know what? Throw my idea out the window. Make a Killer Instinct movie.
Yes.
Make it anime Killer Instinct movie. Have Fulgore and Saberwolf fight in the opening cutscene. Have Maximilian Dude cameo in the Killer Instinct movie.
Max should cameo in the Killer Instinct movie. Yeah.
I would want all of the Yo Video Games crew to be in the Killer. I would want them to be like background characters. Like, I don't know anything about the lore of Killer Instinct. I played it once.
There's
Super
Ultra
Nintendo
Tech
one on Rare Replay.
There's Ultra Tech, and there's Orchid wants to one step closer to fleshing out Ultra Tech. I actually don't know the lore of Killer Instinct at all.
But so that was our discussion of so many things, but mostly the Street Fighter.
Mostly Street Fighter 2.
Mostly Street Fighter 2 the movie. But much like this episode, this movie is all over the place. It has like 50 plots. It has 100 characters. But now that the episode is over, we can go home.
We can all go home.
We can all go home. Unless you're listening to this in your home. But if you're listening to this,
then go outside and then walk back in and go home.
Exactly. Go home. Or if you're listening to this while grocery shopping, wrap it up and we can go home. But thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Movie Mutuals. We will be back again very soon where me and Minetta will talk about movies we love, whether they're worth watching or not, you know, some good, some bad.
We'll definitely end up watching movies we hate at some point.
Oh, I can't wait for the Paul Blart duology. It's gonna happen.
I've actually seen those.
You lucky person. But alrighty. Anything you want to say to close this out, Minetta?
Nah, you can all go home.
You can all go home. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely if you like licensed games or like real cool fun things, feel free to check it out. Or if you like snacks, you can check out one of our last videos where me, Rox, and Skull Kid all did a tier list about snacks and what ones we think you should use for your next movie watch and or video game section. There are some.
What was S tier? Give me something that was S tier.
Doritos were.
Yeah, okay, that's obligatory. Yeah, all right.
I'm trying to think of something that's S tier that we all look at. Funyuns. Funyuns.
Fun. We can't get into this.
Watch the video. See, Minetta now has to go watch the videos.
I do.
You know what? Kit Kat bars. We had Kit Kat bars on S tier.
Kit Kats are S tier. Yeah.
All right, Kit Kats are S tier. And we had Fig Newtons in the F tier. I don't even know why it was offered. But yes, go check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have an incredible day, a better tomorrow, and we will all see you again soon. Take care.
Peace.